When was the last time you had a real conversation with another man? Not about work, not about sports scores, not surface level small talk, but a real conversation where you actually talked about what's going on in your life. If you're struggling to remember, you're not alone. Most American men over 50 are starving for genuine male friendship, and we don't even realize it. I'm back in Britain for the first time in a while, and being here has reminded me of something we've completely lost in America. Men who actually know how to be friends with each other. And I'm going to show you exactly what they're doing differently and how you can build these kinds of connections back home. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most American men over 50 are profoundly lonely, and we're terrible at admitting it. You probably had work colleagues, not friends. You had your wife's friends, husbands, that you tolerated at dinner parties. Maybe you had some guys you played golf with occasionally, but did you actually know anything real about their lives? And now, maybe you're divorced. Maybe you're retired. Maybe you've moved. And you're realizing that you don't actually have any real male friendships. You don't have anyone to call when you're struggling. You don't have anyone who actually knows who you are beyond your job title or your role as a husband. We've been conditioned to believe that needing male friendship is somehow weak, that we should be self-sufficient, that our wives should be our only emotional support. That's just not unrealistic, it's unhealthy. You're carrying the weight of reinventing your life after 50 completely alone, and you don't have to. But first, you need to understand what real male friendship actually looks like. Now, I have a unique perspective on this. I'm British, but I've lived in America for 28 years. At 56, that means I've lived almost exactly half my life in each country. And being back here in Britain has hit me like a ton of bricks. I'd forgotten how different male friendship looks here compared to what I've experienced in America. Growing up here, this was normal. Men gathering regularly, talking about real things, supporting each other through life's ups and downs. But after nearly 3 decades in America, I had unconsciously adopted the American approach. Surface level connections, activity-based friendships, emotional distance. Being back in these familiar pubs, hearing these conversations, watching these interactions, it's reminded me of what we've lost and what's possible. So, what exactly is different about British male friendship that I'd forgotten after all these years in America? These men, guys in their 50s, 60s, 70s, they gather regularly, not for specific activity, not because their wives arranged it, but because they genuinely enjoy each other's company. And here's what struck me most. They talk about real things. Just yesterday, I overheard 2 men in their 60s having a conversation that would never happen in an American bar. They were talking openly about their struggles in their marriages. Not complaining or blaming, but generally sharing how they felt misunderstood and unappreciated at home. One was asking the other for advice, admitting he didn't know how to reconnect with his wife after 30 years. The other was listening, really listening, and sharing his own similar struggles. It was warm, honest, completely without judgment. And here's the thing, this wasn't a therapy session or a men's group. This was just Tuesday evening at the pub. There's this unspoken ritual that I've completely forgotten about. They buy each other drinks in rounds, not because they have to, but because it creates this ongoing obligation to stay connected. They have regular spots, regular times, Tuesday evening, Friday after work, Sunday afternoon. It's not planned like an American guy's night out. It's just woven into the fabric of their lives. And here's the key difference that's become so clear to me now. There's no performance. They're not trying to impress each other. They're not competing. They're not afraid to show uncertainty or vulnerability. They just exist together as themselves. If you're realizing that you've been trying to navigate this stage of life without the support of genuine male friendship, my free Reinvention After 50 guide includes a whole section on building authentic connections and community. The link is in the description below. Because reinventing your life isn't just about finding yourself, it's about finding your people too. After 28 years in America, the difference between American and British male friendship after 50 is stark, and it comes down to permission. In America, we're taught that male friendship should revolve around activities. You need an excuse to spend time together, watching the game, playing golf, working on a project. The activity is the shield that protects you from having to actually connect. Here in Britain, the connection is the activity. They're not gathering to watch football, they're gathering to be together. American men are terrified of appearing needy or emotional. We've been conditioned to believe that real men don't need other men, that we should be completely self-reliant. So we keep our conversations surface level and safe. British men seem to understand that needing other men isn't weakness, it's human. They give each other permission not to have all the answers to struggle, to need support. And here's the crucial difference I've observed after living in both cultures. American male friendships often die when circumstances change. You change jobs, you move, you get divorced, and suddenly those friendships evaporate because they were built around external circumstances, not genuine connection. British pub friendships survive life changes because they're built on something deeper. The understanding that men need other men, regardless of what else is happening in their lives. Now, I'm not saying you need to move to Britain or start drinking in pubs, but there are specific things these men do that you can adapt to your own life. And I wish I'd remembered these lessons sooner in my American experience. First, they prioritize consistency over intensity. It's not about having deep, meaningful conversations every time. It's about showing up regularly and letting the deeper connections develop naturally over time. Second, they create obligation without pressure. The round buying system, the regular meeting times, these create gentle accountability that keeps the group together without making anyone feel trapped. Third, they give each other permission to be human. Nobody's trying to be the guy who has it all figured out. They share struggles, ask for advice, admit when they're confused or scared. And fourth, they understand that male friendship requires intentionality. It doesn't just happen. You have to choose it, prioritize it, and show up for it consistently. If you're starting to see that building genuine male friendships might be one of the most important things that you can do for your mental health and happiness after 50, hit the like button and subscribe. We're building a community of men who understand that we're stronger together than we are alone. So how do you build this kind of authentic male friendship back home in America? Here's what I've remembered from my British roots and learned from my American experience. Step 1. Find your regular place. It doesn't have to be a pub. It could be a coffee shop, a diner, a community centre, but find a place where you can become a regular, where showing up consistently feels natural. Step 2. Start with one guy. Don't try to build a whole group at once. Find one man who seems open to genuine connection. Maybe it's a neighbour. Maybe it's someone from a class you're taking. Maybe it's a guy you meet at that regular place. Step 3. Create gentle accountability. Same time next week. I'll buy the next one. Let me know how that doctor's appointment goes. Small commitments that keep you connected without feeling heavy. Step 4. Give permission for reality. Share something real about your life. Not your deepest trauma on day 1, but something genuine. I'm struggling with this retirement thing. I'm not sure what I'm doing with my life right now. Give the other person permission to be human too. Step 5. Be consistent. Show up. Even when you don't feel like it. Even when nothing dramatic is happening in your life. Especially then. Friendship is built in the ordinary moments, not just the crisis moments. Here's what I want you to understand, and what being back in Britain has reminded me. Needing other men in your life isn't a character flaw. It's not weakness. It's not failure to be self-sufficient. You were never meant to navigate life alone. You were never meant to carry all your struggles, all your questions, all your fears by yourself. The men I've been reconnecting with here understand something we've forgotten in America. That male friendship isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. It's not something you do when you have time left over for more important things. It is one of the most important things. You're going through one of the biggest transitions of your life. You're reinventing who you are, what you want, how you want to live. Why would you try to do that alone when you could do it with support and wisdom of other men who understand exactly what you're going through? The isolation you feel isn't inevitable. The loneliness isn't permanent, but it won't change by accident. You have to choose connection. You have to prioritize it. You have to show up for it. I want to hear from you. What's one small step you could take this week toward building a genuine male friendship? Maybe it's reaching out to someone you've lost touch with. Maybe it's starting a conversation with a neighbor. Maybe it's just being more open the next time someone asks how you're doing. Share it in the comments below, because I guarantee you're not the only one struggling with this, and your honesty might give another man permission to start building the friendship he needs. Remember, you don't have to do this alone, and you shouldn't. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, reach out to someone. Cheers!
Empower over 50 now. Stand up tall and take your bow. Feel the rhythm, feel the power. This is your triumphant hour.